Got us a little work going on here in the shop. This is a STIHL HT-101 pole saw. For those of you that might not be familiar with what that is, it's a pole. It's basically a saw on a pole. You can reach up and cut limbs. This particular model, you can loosen the end and extend it out. A very handy tool. You cut down more than 30 minutes and you can drag in a week. Customer brought this one in and said it wouldn't turn over and wouldn't run. I've stripped it apart here to show you what I found. To kind of give you a bird's eye view, this is the outer pole that you hold on to. This part here holds this part. This is your cutter head. This, when you loosen this, slides in and out of here. This is the internal shaft that does the turning that slides. Now, this stuff here, this part hooks to your motor. When the shaft is slid in, that's these bearings. They compress. When you let it out, they expand. And that gives it support for that little shaft that's inside. And now it puts you a bearing here, a bearing here, a bearing here, because without that, when you had it extended, you'd have this little shaft inside of that, so the least bit of tension, it would bow. These keep it straight. You look at that, that's a star shape. It's supposed to spin, but it's froze up, as well as this one and this one. And this one here, it tore slam out of the housing. It'll spin now anywhere it is. These are so severely rusted, they're just coming apart. But I got a whole bag full of goodies and some brand new parts. When it failed, it allowed it to tear the snap ring off. Which in turn heat this shaft up. And it's hard to see, but on this end there's another snap ring. It tore it off and chewed that shaft up. So what we'll be replacing today is this internal shaft. This bushing, which is riveted on, we'll have to drill that out and remove that. This one, which is the same way, we'll have to drill it out and remove that and put the new one in. 2 brand new springs and 2 internal brand new bushings. Due to the amount of rust that's in here, I'm going to clean this. I got a brush on the pole. We'll do that first. And we'll clean the internal end of this, but first we're going to go ahead and take this off and get it out of the way so that we can run our cleaning brush. There's a lot of dirt and corrosion in there, and that snap ring is still hung up in there, and we need to get that out of there. First thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and spin this shaft around. We'll get it locked down in our vise so that it don't move. Put us on some safety glasses. Get you zoomed up here where you can see what's going on. We're just going to drill that rivet out. Got that first one on. We'll lay this over to the side so we can clean it. This is the short shaft that goes on the other end. We got to remove it too because it also is froze up. Same procedure, we'll just lock her down, drill the top off that rivet. This little end, I think we'll just strip everything off of it. I'll throw it in the parts washer. and let it be soaking while we scrub the rest of it. For this next part, there's a lot of trash in this liner, and there's just as much trash in these two tubes. So what I got here, my previous job, I've done a lot of these pole saws, so I just took me a steel whip antenna. On the end of it I got a simple bottle brush. Take this cup of gas, set it on the ground, we'll set the end of this in it, we'll pull it completely through it, back through it, keep it up off the bottom, and every time it hits that gas, it'll clean the dirt off of them bristles. It'll pull fresh bristles with a little bit of gas back through it. We'll keep doing that until it comes out clean. We'll start first with a simple plastic liner. Just feed the brush through it. Let it protrude into the gas. And we'll just keep pulling it back and forth. Letting it come out into the gas. Spend a time or two to clean the brush and put some more gas on it. The gentleman that owns this pole saw lives down by the coast. Therefore, see how white that brush is? It's coming out clean. It's hard to keep that salt air from rusting these things up. Not really a whole lot he can do in the environment where he lives. Next we'll do the little short liner off the other end. We'll do it the same way. See how dirty that is? Put it in that gas and it takes it right off. Now we'll move on to the inner tube housing. This is the part that extends. Now I don't know if you can really tell it in that video, but that cup of gas has gotten nasty. We're just going to keep pulling through it until it's completely clean. Every now and then we'll just pull it all out and give it a good visual inspection. Now we'll do the main outer tube, and it really needs it. So it all makes sense to you when we get it put back together. How dirty that gas is. That's how much stuff come out of them tubes. I stuck these old parts up here just to show y'all for demonstrations. We're going to move them out of the way. Let's lay out some new parts. Oh yeah, here's our bearings. Alright, there's 4 bearings to these pole saws. There's 3 bearings that spline and 1 bearing that's open. That bearing's important to know because it goes on the end of your part that extends. And the reason for that is because when you seat that bushing home, that bearing, that shaft has to protrude out of there, not the spline part. So we're going to go ahead first and rivet that bearing on that shaft. Nothing really spectacular about that. We just slide the bearing on, line the hole up, pop the rivet in there, take our rivet gun, put the rivet gun down on it, and rivet pliers, or however you want to say it. And we are there. And then we're going to take, it don't matter which one, but one of our star top bearings, and we're going to do the same thing on this short piece that goes on the motor end. Do it the same way. And that's all there is to that part. Alright. Now we want to take our new shaft, and on this particular style it's a 3-piece. You got your rear slip, your front slip, and then your mid shaft. We're going to separate this part. Now that I've let it settle, you see how much dirt come out of that? What we're going to do next is we're going to take our part that our chain end hooks onto that extends outward, and we're going to reinstall our liner, our spacer bushing, and our new external shaft, our new long end shaft. We're going to take this liner and we're going to put this inner shaft in it, and then we're going to slide the whole thing in this outer shaft. Now on the outside of this liner, you don't want any grease or oil. You see those ridges? That's what grips the liner to the outside of that tube, so that when this shaft is spinning, the liner don't spin. Now, on this shaft, you don't want to gob grease on there. Otherwise it gets dirt, it hardens up, and it grabs inside that liner. A good press top oil or something of that line is okay. I kind of got my own little formula here that I use, so I'm going to lube this up real quick. Alright, now that we got that shaft lubed, we're going to slide the bushing on it. Then we're going to slide the liner on it. Now we're going to take that outer shaft. And we're going to push that complete unit down inside that shaft. And what you're looking for is for that shaft to be extending toward that bushing. And now, just to prepare for the next step, we're going to put this seal in. You'll understand what that's for later. Put our release buckle on. Alright. Now we're going to lay that to the back. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to assemble our shaft, our inner shaft. Next we'll take our rear shaft housing, we'll slide our bushing in, our liner behind that, push it home. Now we'll take our spline shaft, pull it in, pull all the way to the back, and make sure that that hairpin stops it from coming forward. Now we'll take our rear slip shaft, carefully line it, do not force it. Slide it in until it stops. Now for this next part, we're going to assemble the springs and the rest of the bushings onto this shaft. Hopefully when you took this apart, you paid attention to the way the grooves were in these bushings, because there's a certain way they go back. And if it's not right, it won't extend out, or you could just tear out that almost $200 worth of parts you just purchased. So I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. I wasn't thinking. But you need to pay attention to how those springs come out. Something like that's what you're looking for. And when it's enclosed inside the machine, and the shaft's pushed back, the bearings come together like that. And when you extend it out, it pushes those bearings outward. That gives it support inside that shaft. That's the purpose of them bearings being the way that they are. Next thing we're going to do is put this assembly inside of the outer tube. Alright. Now we're going to take this bushing. This seals the end to try to help keep dirt and stuff from getting in it. Then we'll put the locking clamp on it, but we won't tighten it down yet. Alright, now we're going to spin it around and we're going to put this inner shaft back in it. Put that sealing sleeve in. We'll pull that locking clamp on. Everything slides freely at this point. Next thing we'll do is reinstall the motor on the motor end. Now we'll reattach the cutter to the opposite end. Now this end here we can go ahead and secure. And just snug it up for now. First thing we want to do before we try to fire it up, let's make sure that our shaft still extends and retracts. Oh yeah, smooth. Next thing we're going to do is try to crank it up. I'd definitely call that a successful repair. I'm gonna sharpen that chain. We'll get this one back out to the customer. But there's a little more to what we're doing right there than what you actually seen. There's some alignment and some parts. So my fee for repairing a pole saw, labor-wise, about $60 plus the part. If you take it apart, put it in a box and bring it to me, it's automatically $100 labor. If you decide to tear into it, you better know what you're doing when you get in there. Or bring it to me to begin with. Appreciate y'all joining me.